How y'all doing? How you doing today? I'm here with my homeboy, Travel the Culture. He let me invite me on his podcast some weeks ago, and was a good experience and everything. Now he's coming on mine, giving love, showing love like he normally do. Introduce yourself. By the way,
I'm Gainesville 100. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man.
All right.
Yeah. So let's tell you about you a little about yourself. Where you from?
I'm from originally. I'm from Catskill, New York. That's for the young whippersnappers that don't know. That's for the home of Mike Tyson, Cus D'Amato, upstate
Mm.
New York by Albany, the capital, and Mickey Brantley. Mickey Brantley is my uncle. He went to the majors. He took over. Ken Griffey Jr. took over his spot in center field.
Oh wow, that's cool, man. You got
And
some
his
history in New York.
Yeah, and his son is Dr. Smooth on the Houston Astros right now, Michael Brantley.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. I know who he is. Okay. Yeah, I follow baseball a little bit. That's good. That's good. Man, you got some good
Yep.
history, man, right there, man. Family history right there.
Yep.
Man. So how was your family structure when you was coming up, man?
My family structure was beautiful, man. It was just typical, typical upstate New York where the blacks stay with the blacks, and we got along with the white people also, but there was also riots and stuff growing up in our era. But I had my mother, my pops wasn't there. He was 6 miles away. He was a trucker. And I didn't we didn't like him because no matter what you do, if my mother and you fall out, you should always keep up with your kids, man. So, my mother raised us, my grandmother, my grandfather, and my uncles. My uncles was basically my uncle was basically my pops, and my grandfather was basically my father, and my grandmother was the Swiss Army knife. You know how that go.
No,
So
I
I got
got
three
you.
brothers, three brothers, one sister. She lives in Alabama. But yeah, life was good. We struggled poor, but we had each other. That's all that mattered.
That's good, man. Definitely had like a good bond with your family structure, man. Like that's a lot of things that's missing now in today's society, man. Like, that father figure, not being like it is, but at least when you have that father figure, it makes a difference, for everybody. So,
Yeah.
that's good, man. I'm happy. You definitely raised the right way, man. I know you're a hard worker, determined, and you out here doing your thing, man. I respect that.
No, the one thing too, I always say too, like a lot of my friends, um, seven out of four out of my seven friends went to prison, did 20 years or more because it was a smaller upstate. But that's when the crack epidemic hit, and everybody was up there trying to get that money. You know what I mean? We seen the basketball players that was going to college, careers take a dive because of the crack era. They was making $3,000-4,000 a night. You know,
Damn.
up there upstate. So I seen the dudes with money in their sock, and my brothers was the good boys. I was just a bad boy, man. I just went down the wrong path.
Yeah, like I told you when I was on your podcast, we was talking like I kind of was like the athletic dude, but nerdy at the same time. So I could be either or. So it never was no like direct type of category or group I was in. So like I be hanging out with some people who were cool, popular, and other times I was hanging with people who were nerdy, anime and stuff like that. Anime wasn't really popular, but you see how down the road is how they making money off of, definitely the women making money off of it because they dress up as like those certain favorite anime female characters or even, unisex
Hmm.
characters. They're making bank money out here now. So it's like crazy.
Yeah.
I know you're saying about when you're dealing with people like out in the streets, raised in that type of environment, that tough environment. I mean, I was raised around it, but I wasn't in it. So I was very fortunate, very opportunity not having to deal with that because I know it's be tough on people. I'm lucky I had both my parents, like I had a good father figure. My dad, he was difficult at times, like he said like difficult man, but he was in the military and he was raised by his mother. Dad was part of his life, but not married to his mother at the time. But it
Yeah.
still worked out. He still was raised good, so and I had a good
Yeah.
environment. I can't complain.
Hey, so and two, quick before we move on, just to give you a little background. Me, I wasn't the athletic dude. I could play football. I was just a big fat. I was just a little chunky fat dude. I couldn't put all I could do was play football. So, I was very good at that. That's the only thing I got really picked in was football. But I was a class clown, you know what I mean? So, I was the one putting tax in people's chairs and all that shit. So, like I just and I wasn't smart in school at all. So I just went down the wrong path. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like my family structure wasn't good. It was just and I wanted to be a rapper, and so that's the road I took. You know what I mean? I paid for it, but I made up for it in the end, as you can see, man.
Yeah, man, you still here, you still, being successful and saying you're doing your own thing, man. And that's all that matters, man. You're being positive, man. You're bringing a positive I say, concept aspect to, not just community, but people in life. So that's all that matters. But let me ask you, when did you start liking to travel?
My first bug, what we consider traveling, I think I made the first leap when I moved to Alabama. I quit, you know what I mean? I was I didn't make it to I only made it to like ninth grade. You know what I mean, man? So
Okay.
you know what I mean? So I had a chance to get out of upstate New York, and my stepfather's wife, well, Darlene, it was his other baby mom. That's who the mother of my little sister now. She lived down south and moved down to Alabama. So I went down to Mobile, Alabama. I had a chance to go. There was nothing heading for me in Catskill, but I was moving them packs, and I wasn't making no real money, but I was moving that stuff, and I had got a chance to get out to go down to Alabama. It was Alabama was Mobile. It was a straight up culture shock. Real racism, rednecks. You know what I mean? They driving by in the truck in the middle of the night. They getting out. I stop. They'll get out of they'll stop the car and be like, "Hey, you see ass nigger," stuff like that. So it was real down there. But I loved it. I stayed down there a year. The food, everything was beautiful, man.
Yeah, I was in Boise, Idaho for a year. I did walk on for football. I made it on a practice squad, but I got a chance to at least get inside the actual program, the football program itself, and got to learn a lot from that. The workouts, the regimens, the conditioning. It's crazy. Like college football, man. Like if you're in a college town, you're like a king or a god there, man. Like definitely king. They worship you, and being in Boise, Idaho. That was at Boise State University. That was crazy because them dudes, you had parties, girls. Just being on a practice squad, just hey, you better suit up. They like, oh yeah, I'm messing with that guy right there. Oh yeah, you gotta remember my man's. I'm up here. I was getting more play. I told this to other people too when I'm around here. Some of them don't want to believe it, but where I'm from, the DMV area part is I got more play when I was up in Idaho for a year, like let's say 10 months, than I got in 5 years in the DMV area. I'm not even, I'm not knocking the area. The DMV area has done me right over the 2 years to a certain degree in my 20s, but it wasn't the experience I got when I was over in up in Idaho in Boise. So that was like a whole different experience. Just going to social events, activities, all that stuff, man. And you getting to meet people. That girl told me, hey, why should I go home with you? Why should I chill with you and go home? I'm like, wow, never had no girl just ask me out, just blatantly out, like, hey, why should I go home with you? And I was like, what, 22? It's crazy. Man. You get the different experience when you travel, even if it's within the United States or outside. You always get a different experience.
So you know what? I'm never here to. We talked about this. We talked about this in my Black and Mexico group. But I'm never here to bash black women. They made me stronger where I was from. But they didn't want nobody but drug dealing Pookie, drug dealing Andre. There's not. That's how they are now. So nothing has changed. So all my boys that went to college, in school, they was the route. They had all the white girls, all the white good. That's why we still love white girls to this day, because all the white girls, they worship you for what you're doing. Not and they're doing something positive. So them was only guys that was the superstars because they was doing something positive. But everybody else that was on the street, the D boys was more popular than the sports athletes was.
Yeah, you're right, man. I just think it's funny because I used to get good play, go on dates out here and and everything. And I say back in the late 2000s and under, before 20, really before the 2010, like 2011, 2012, 2013 started. I'll be honest with you, dating here was good at one point, in my early 20s. But when
Mm-hmm.
I hit my late 20s, it was just going downhill. You saw, because I got a terminology for it. Like I call it the 5 facts of niggas. But it's funny because like I call them, like, you got a typical nigga, you got the dude that be in and out of trouble, but he don't really get locked up. You got like say Pookie and Ray Ray, a side nigga that everybody looks up to and be like, oh, I love that guy. That guy, he from the street. He know my struggle, this, that, and the third. Or he's a cool dude because he has that certain look. You got the baby boy dude, the baby boy nigga, like, the guy that's like, you saw the movie with Tyrese in it, he up there, get with a chick technically, but it's always like the chick that had her stuff together, rather put all her time and effort into him, and he up there, messing up, or, goofy, messing up his situation with her. And then you had like the, like I call it like what's the guy? Oh, the guy that basically, thinks like, hey, it's your fault, not mine. It's like he always look like, he can't do wrong in front of everybody. I call him the guy can't do wrong guy, and
Can't get
everybody
right.
like,
Can't get
oh
right.
yeah, yep, and he gets away with it. And it's like, a guy like me, if I done something, I know times where I've seen situations where if I done something or whatever, because of how I look or my persona, or maybe just, hey, they might just like what they like, oh, I'm getting a certain look or a certain type of different, reciprocation or response or interaction with the person. Like I was telling one of my homeboys that I had a girl that told me straight up, what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't, like, we was on a date. My homeboy hooked me up with her. I didn't know that she was, on some like a little bit of like, trying to act like she's, on the side hustle type stuff, I'll say. And she told me, I don't do that for free. I was like, wow, like, I'm gonna take this like second time taking on a date, and yeah, you're gonna tell me you do this. I'm like, why are you, bring this up now, and we up here having a good time? But at the same time, I mean, I understand your hustle, and I wish I had known before. I wasn't trying to, I don't try to assume, because she's a black female. I'm not trying to assume that. I'm trying to go out with the mindset of, hey, I'm dating a woman, a young woman, trying to have a good time, and whatever happens, happens, between us. We're adults. But
Yeah.
it feels like it's always like, who's the highest bidder for, the treasure, or what have you done for me lately mindset. And it's tough, man. I mean, I know you've gone through it yourself in your younger years, just like I've gone through it, man. So it's just crazy. But what made you like to leave the U.S. to travel more? Like, what was your inspiration?
All right, so now we're gonna go down the rabbit hole a little bit. I had a couple. I owned a couple of businesses. I didn't really own, but I ran a couple of nightclubs in upstate New York. I was a big, me and my crew was a big rap star. So after my rap career didn't go through, I got a chance to run a couple of nightclubs. One I ran was a guy I was performing at. Then he wanted me to come because I could funnel a crowd. I had everybody following me, so his club wasn't moving. So I got everybody to come to the club. I performed there, and then once I started getting all the traffic there, he wanted me to run the club. I did that once, then I did that twice. Then I after my things fell, I went into alcohol. I fell into alcohol abuse. I went down the rabbit hole. My business failed, and then I just started drinking, and then I just started getting out of hand. And then you know how that saying goes: everybody wants to see you up. Everybody loves you when you on top, but when you on the bottom, nobody ain't looking for you. That's how that thing went. I went into a deep spiral, lost control of my life. Got into I had like a DUI. Then I had like a little weed charge. So when my buddy bailed me out, I left. I didn't have no money to pay my fines. So what I did was I left. I moved to Philadelphia. And then when I went to Philadelphia was worse than New York. To me, Philadelphia was the worst place I've ever been in my life. It made me hate brothers. You know what I mean? Because it's just black on black crime. It's, everything's, so everything's violent, and we were so bunched together, and it's a big city. And I was homeless down there, went through the shelter system down there, slept in the streets, went into a shelter. Then this dude off the street seen me and was like, yo, bro, you don't look like you're from around here. I was like, nah, I'm from New York. He was like, I tell you what, I'm gonna get you some help. So he brought me into a shelter where it was a home where they have home rehabilitation centers.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
So I was in North Philly up by Temple. I stayed up there,
What was that?
got myself together, then got a job, and then I was able to get out of there, get a place, and then I moved to San Diego. Then when I got to San Diego, I started getting on my feet, started getting a little better job. Then I started drinking again. Then once I got to San Diego, then I quit. For the last time, I woke up and went cold turkey and quit. So when they tell you you can't quit drinking, it's a lie because it's up to you. I went to all these alcohol abuse meetings. None of that shit works. So, you got females and you got the guys, and the females are the worst because they'll be like, oh, he raped me 5 times. He raped me 10 times. He abused me for 10 years. So I just kept drinking. No, that's you. You let him do that. So that made me drink and smoke even more. You know what I mean? So I just woke up on a Halloween and I quit smoking, drinking, everything. That day, I've been 9 years sober. And so,
Good,
if
man.
anybody tell you you can't quit, you got to do it on your own terms. Nobody's going to make you stop, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I respect that, man. I told my my homeboy that like, 'cause he deals with, like, as a guy that I used to work with before. He dealt with certain girls. He got this like white girls, but they on drug. They in and out of out of jail, getting caught up, and they selling or they using or doing something dumb. They almost in their 30s now, and in their 30s or so, and it's like, he's been dealing with for like almost a decade, trying to help them, and it's not their fault, or it's their background, their environment, the background. I'm like, not necessarily, because they can stop. You got kids involved, and if you're not going to, like, hey, say, hey, I'm gonna stop because I have my kids and my life to get together to to help raise my kids and stuff, and you keep going to jail and somebody else got to raise your kids at some point. At some point, you got to do stuff a little bit different to better your situation. You can't just keep making excuses, saying, "Oh, it's everybody else's fault," and putting the blame.
Yeah.
Like, he told me once. This is an example. He told me, he said that, like, hey, he blames the mother, the girl he talks to right now, because she smoked weed. Talking about she smoked weed in front of her, like, but that didn't make her do the hard drug. To just she smoked weed. I mean, you got to think, like, weed is a drug, but it's not a hard drug to be like, hey. That's only use a choice. Everything's still a choice, regardless. At the end of the day, when you do something, that's how I look at stuff. People got different perspectives on it. Hey, I respect that, but at the end of the day, you still have a choice. It's an action, it's a reaction. That's how I look at stuff. But that's the way I was raised. So.
Yeah. Oh, and Mexico. Oh, so when I came to Diego, right? That was my plan to come to. I always wanted to come to Mexico. So my plan was from Philadelphia. I was going to go to San Diego, get to know San Diego, but I didn't want to come at the time because that was during the El Chapo era. Tijuana was banned. So I waited, and then after that, that was my goal, to get here. Once I got strong enough, I came to San Diego. I lived in San Diego for like 4 years. And then I made that jump once I was sober, once I was ready to go to Tijuana. So I went there. My plan was, if I liked it, I was going to move there. So I went there. My first day, the police robbed me. The good cop, bad cop role. So I was walking down the alley, and I always say I went there with my LeBrons on, my belt buckle, shining and all that shit. That was the wrong move. But when I went there the first day, the police, I asked the cops, well, where's the party at? So the police officer was sitting there, and then there was a dude. He was like, hey, man, come here. You want to go down where the party's at? I said, yeah. So he's like, what you want? Coke, crack, smack, heroin, weed? I said, bro, the police officer's right there, bro. He said, fuck that cop, man. What's up? What you want? So I knew this is where I wanted to be once he told me this in front of the cop. So I said, yo, I don't do drugs. I don't drink or smoke. I said, where the girls at? He said, yo, it's down here in the Cahuilla. I said, what time is the bars closed? He said, they don't. I've been here ever since. So I'm going out like 10 years, man.
Oh, man, you got a good time. Let me ask you, how was your first experience traveling to a different country? Like, what was your favorite country to travel to?
I love Mexico the best, but I think my best experience, my eye-openers experience, was Canada. My uncle Mickey, I was telling you before, Toronto. He was the batting coach for the Blue Jays at the time. So when we went up there, we went to the stadium, and then we went there, and we was like food in the glass, man. That was when
Uh-huh.
Harlem was out. That was when Dipset was out. So we all had
Oh
the
yeah.
shiny, the shiny shirts on. You know, we had the shiny shirts on. It was just New York to the T. We had the belt
Uh-huh.
buckles on, the chains. So we was just doing. We was all riding that Harlem wave at the time. And the women looked at us like food in the glass, man. And the top for Toronto, where they have the bum where everybody's sleeping in the street. You
Mhm.
can't sleep on the street in Toronto. There wasn't a piece of paper on the ground on the floor. Like the bums have to sleep under the bridge in the subway. You can't sleep on the street in Toronto. I don't know how it is now, but the food, I met the Jamaicans. But if I would go anywhere back cold, it would be Toronto.
Oh, that's good, man. That's cool. I want me and my homeboy. We was talking about going to Canada, maybe next like 2 or 3 years. But we that's like down the road or somewhere in Germany or European country itself. But we will see. I still want to do my Asian country and African countries. Well,
Oh yeah,
African definitely
yeah.
countries. So at least one or two beforehand. But we'll see though how it works. What was the best food that you had overseas?
Um, to me, I had some Puerto Rican food and I tried Russian food. I had Russian food. Russia, I didn't like Russia. Um, the Russian food was just too much for me. I'm gonna say if I gotta keep it all the way a beam, I'm gonna have to say the Mexican food here. Like, cause I don't like I had everything. So I think my favorite dish is bistec ranchero. Bistec ranchero is steak, finely cut steak, like cube steak with a little bit of the fat on it,
Okay.
with onions, potatoes, rice, and like a gravy, and like a brown gravy, or you can get it in the red gravy.
Okay,
It's with
that's cool.
rice and frijoles. That's beans.
Oh, gotcha. That's cool. That's cool. How was the hotel or the Airbnb that you stayed at? Like, where did you stay at the most normally?
Um, I would do. I think to me, I don't want to be. I don't want to be rude or sound like a savage, but I think the little sex hotels was the best. Like they were like $25 a night. Like you could pull your car in and into the garage, and then you would walk up the spiral steps to your room.
Oh,
Um, in the room. So it was like $30 a night, and it was spot on clean breakfast. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with here, man. Because I ain't trying to be funny. Maybe because weekday traffic, it's all catered to sex tourism here. You understand what I'm saying? So like everything's catered to the sex tourism. But once you get out of close to the states, I will have to say the Airbnbs are better. When I was in Cuernavaca, Morales, I stayed at a resort for like $25. It was like the Amazon rainforest. You hear birds, snakes, the mosquitoes is like this damn big, So yeah, it's your preference, man. It's your preference how you want it.
yeah, Airbnbs. I tried Airbnb overseas this year with Brazil. It wasn't up to par. Like I had a little situation where I even had to I wrote, how you had to type a letter or a comment or a response or email response, and even with us, me and my homeboy who stayed in the Airbnb, we proved that they had did something they did not do. They lied about or did not do. They lied to me saying we had a party. I didn't have a party. I had somebody stay over for one night or they came to visit. That was it. It was like one full night. They left the next day. They trying to say we had a party of 6 people or something, and I'm like, it was only like 4 of us there, and actually the one person who left the guy who traveled, he's a little older than you and me. He's like we call him El Presidente. He was staying at a different Airbnb that was probably like 10 minutes from where we was at on the where the on the strip of Rio, and pretty much like they pretty much trying to talk about some he's like he had a party of 6 people. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, I had a few female friends come who I knew through people who I met through people. They come visit me. That was about it. I didn't
Yeah.
have like a lot of people coming through, and they still was like, man, like it was a big issue. And I wrote a review, a bad review on them, and then they told the people that shouldn't. They said first they told me it was okay how it was within the Airbnb guidelines. You can write it the way I wrote it. Then they're gonna say no. They're gonna say no. They reviewed it again, said no, it's not. And I said so. My review is getting take or not just taken down, but overruled because the people who had the Airbnb felt it was hurting their them getting business. And I said that's not right, but they did us wrong. If you get done wrong, you should be able to voice your opinion. And they want to voice their opinion. So I said I would never use an Airbnb overseas. In America, it's good, or maybe a European country, but I would never use it overseas.
Because it's a scam. It's a scam trying to get you to pay more money. So did you have to pay more money at the end of the day?
No, they kind of did us wrong. Where if we asked for simple, simple stuff, like we said, can we get extra towels? Like that's all I was asking for, one extra towel. Because I didn't, I needed it. That's all. And they act like it was an issue. They're gonna charge me. I was like, that's crazy. Then my man's, he had an issue where they had some type of spot. It might be a pea spot. I don't know. It was a spot on his sheets. He asked him. He showed it to him. And they were talking we had to have all this. We took a picture of it, we showed it, and still wasn't good enough. So it's crazy. But I'm gonna ask you, how was the nightlife? And are you considered like a club guy, bar guy, or even are you like house parties? Like what's your flavor?
I'm definitely a club guy, man, because that's my vibe. I don't drink or smoke, so I like to have a Red Bull, and I like to dance. You know what I mean? That's my cardio. I think I told you that before. That's how I get my cardio in. I think for me, shopping, if you can't speak Spanish, dancing is the next best alternative to chop the ice. You don't have to speak. You don't even have to know the language. But if you know Spanish, that's a way for you to get more closer to a female, or get, or seal the deal, or get more intimate with a female because you know how to dance. You're breaking the ice. She understands that you understand the language and the culture. So if you could do that, you're one step closer to scoring a touchdown. You know what I mean?
You in like fun, huh?
So I say dancing. The nightlife, it'll tell you everything about how the city move at night. Me too. I always learn this. I always went this way too. When I go somewhere, I always like to go where the locals is at, because you'll know how the city move when you move through the locals. Like if you go to the tourist spot, you'll never know. You'll never know how the city move, or how the country move, because you're around people that's just like you. They don't know nothing. So they around you getting robbed like they are. You get in good with the locals. They'll teach you everything, show you where the hot spots are to go to and dance, and then you'll pick up on the culture faster just by learning how to dance and to communicate.
No, that's cool, man. Yeah, I like I'm more of a I like to do a house party, but I'm more like a club dude myself. Like I like to be able to, go up there, dance. Like I saw the difference when I went overseas two or three times, and it's more more intimate, like you said, man. It's more like they get into it. It's not like how it is over here in the United States now. It used to not be like that back then when I was coming up in the beginning of late 2000s, where I could go to a club and girls, you could get danced on and stuff. Nowadays, it seems like they only want to dance on each other or put their, like I saw one time my homeboy, we went to the club called the Park in the DC. Nice club. It's got three levels, I believe, or four, maybe four. And they got a live band, and like we was on the third floor. We thinking like, oh, this girl wants to dance, and these girls is two or three of them. Man, my homeboy, his name Alex, cool dude. I knew since at PG Community College. He went up to him, and I'm like, oh, he about to try to get it going. He about to put the work in. About to get going out of nowhere. Girl like looked at him, like did one of those looks like you see on Instagram or the YouTube, how those people be on the YouTube, the content creators, looked at him, and then she gonna like turn around and put her butt on and said, yeah, and then she kind of put her hands on him, like you can dance like that, try to push him away, technically, like in a not in a disrespectful way, but a way like I'm carrying you, but please get out the way. And I guess he tried again. This is how she put her hand. She kind of put her hand in his face and stuff. I was like, golly, these girls are difficult. This happened like back in 2018, 2019. This is like less than 5 years ago. It's crazy, man. This, it could be better than this, man. Like, I mean, I miss how it was back in the day when you see people dancing, having a good time, and it was never like that, man. But things have changed.
Yeah.
Are you more with tourism? Do you like going like different like historical spots, or like places where like the museums or cultural spots. What do you like to do when you out there normally?
Me, I don't really. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you, bro. I don't really do me here. I haven't been to one tourist spot since I've been here. You know why? Because it's not like I don't. I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn something I can't understand. If that make any sense, that kind of make
Okay.
any sense to you? Because it's like, why would I learn about Mexico's founders and all that, or the country's founders, when I just want to learn the culture? I just want to know the food. I just want to know the people. I don't want to know about the guy who discovered it, or I mean, oh, maybe yeah, like the beaches and maybe like buildings or something. Yeah, I would love to see buildings and like maybe vacation spots or something like that. Far as learning the city, but far as like attractions, I wasn't never really into that. I've never been to one attraction since I've been here, and I've been here 10 years. Now, if I stumble on something, I might like it, but other than that, man, I'm just I want to know about the women. I want to know about the women, the gym, where I can go to party, what I can do to have fun. I don't know
So
how everybody else move. That's how I move.
yeah, so you do like the party, like beaches and stuff like that, trying to see where they
Yeah,
at. Okay,
yeah,
okay. I respect that. I learn about the culture. I mean, I don't mind learning a little bit extra, just to have the knowledge. So they say, oh, they
yeah.
got effort out there to get know my, because I knew one of the girls knew I knew what about the president who got elected. She said, ooh, and it caught her attention. And we exchanged WhatsApp information. We hung out or whatever, went out to eat or whatever. Somewhere cheap. It wasn't no expensive. So I'll be honest, like even girls, when you take them on a simple outing, they like, oh my god, you really? Thank you. Like they was, they're very humble and very, they're feminine and very, very, understanding, or very, like they're not trying to be bougie. Or so it's just like they look
Mhm.
good. Don't get me wrong. The women, they be between 8 to 9 all the break, but the whole thing is they know how to carry themselves in a way that if you're going out with them, you're not feeling you be embarrassed, or you're gonna feel
Yeah.
like because you doing not about no bare minimum. Because chicks, I'm not knocking females here, but some of them, way they are now, they structure themselves now over the last 10 to less than 15 years is different. And they're not humble, they're not appreciative. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Appreciative of what you do. It's like you gotta be up to who's the highest bidder. Like you bidding at an auction, who's the highest bidder? Like who who gonna put that $1,000 out? Like I ain't got no $1,000 like that to be putting out. You crazy? It's already tough. Like we got high inflation. We got our was it our grandparents, our parents, the type of finance or economy they was living in. Shoot, we lucky that we got more like technology, but our economy only come close to what it was back in the day. That was like 50 years ago.
Yep.
But
Oh, say one other thing too is the killer. The deal. What I always learned, I've always learned the music and the food. If you can sing their songs, I know I know damn near every Mexican song here. I just don't know the words, but I can mumble. They know I'm mumbling the words. That's the killer. If you learn the music, you ain't got to learn nothing else. But if you learn the music, the food, and learn how to speak the language, you
and
don't need
dance,
to know
right?
nothing else. And dance, you don't need to know nothing else, bro. It's just
That's
a little
cool.
GP for y'all.
Let me ask this question. So I know you selling down there now, but would you move to a different foreign country, or would you stay where you at?
Um, I plan on moving now. I
Okay.
came to Mexico to de-Americanize myself. Me being from New York, it's all about sneakers, your gear, how you look, how you carry yourself. But I'm getting older now, so I don't really. I'm down to what, like 20 pair of sneakers. I had like 70 when I came here. So you
Oh,
know what I mean? So like, so I'm chopping down. I haven't got rid of my clothes yet, but I think Colombia, what I wanted to do is I wanted to move to Colombia and go to Cali. Cali is where the black culture is at. So that's where I wanted to go. Medellin. I just want to go see it, but I've been here in Mexico. It's the same thing. I'm in Tijuana. It's the same thing. I go there. I see there's a lot of Colombians that come here, a lot of Colombian women here. There's Brazilian women that come here, women from Argentina that's here. So, but I just want to go see Medellin and go see it for myself and just to experience it. But I also My goal is to go to Cali because that's where the black culture is at.
Okay,
So
that's cool.
that's why I planned on moving down there. That's where the good food is at, where the season is at, and um and that mixture. I love the women with that dark skin and that peanut butter slinky skin and that slinky hair. You remember the slinky?
Yeah, I
When
remember
we
that.
was growing up? Yeah, so I like
Yeah.
the women with that black oily slinky hair. That's my pet peeve.
Gotcha. Okay, okay, that's cool. Now I met some. I ain't gonna lie to you. I met some nice looking women of the darker color, darker complexion. When I was in Brazil, like I met like we went to this club called Ventry up in it was like not that far from the favelas, and there was nice looking. You had different all different shades, gorgeous shades of women, like pretty. Yeah, dark skin, dark brown, brown skin, light skin. You wanted light mix. I mean, you had about at least 5 or 6 different complexions, and that was a good experience. And my I had a homeboy, the one who went on my first trip back in 2021. He went to Cali before. We had this little just tell you real quick. We had an issue where we basically we went on our flight and we left a day after he left. He left a day before us, so he went to Cali. It was all me in Cali, Colombia, and problem was it's during the COVID when COVID was strong then, and it's crazy, man. Like out of nowhere, they said the people didn't come from the other airlines to come and do what they're supposed to do with our airline, our flight. So we got delayed a day or two up in at least a day and a half up in New York. And there's about to be a tsunami, all this stuff. It's been like a bad hurricane coming. It was like, oh my goodness. But they got us out there before that joint hit. So then we got to Miami. Got to Miami, man, out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. We was stay half a day there. So when we finally got there, we had to miss Cali because the flight. We missed 2.5 days of flight. They made it up to us, but we got there. We had to go straight to Cartagena. And my homeboy, the guy who's an older guy, he's a little bit older than me. They call El Presidente. He pretty much said that he didn't like it because he said he didn't know where where the spot's at, and he felt it was like for him not he couldn't find the darker Colombian women because he liked dark skinned women, so it's like he didn't find it, so he had a good experience. But I know you probably got boots on ground, or you got information that where you can go and meet meet them. So
Hey, so that's another thing too. I've always done us having a travel group, right? So when I go somewhere, I always got 3 or 4 waiting for me when I get there. So I always get on the site and meet a few and then talk to a few. So when I get there, I already got a few lined up waiting for me. When I get there, that's the difference. That's what you guys. If you go there in the blind trying to find something, it's going to be hard because you don't know where anything is. So if you get online and pre-plan and pre-trip, or you got to have a couple of guys there. And I always said this too. When I started my tour business here in Mexico, um, I had guys that would call me and just want to come and then get information from me and then come by themselves because I gave them a little information so they could save money. But at the end of the day, they spent double what they would have paid me, the $120 that they would have paid me. But they find themselves because they didn't need me. I've been here almost 8 years. I know where everything is at. You know what I mean? So if you just staying in the spot where all the hookers at and the strip clubs, you don't know nothing. So you ain't gonna go nowhere else, and you're gonna spend all your money there. So, but if you get up with somebody that know what's going on, they can bring you to the spots where the locals is at, where the local women be at, where the local food is at, and that's when you have the best time. Instead of
yeah,
spending
you're
all
right.
your money in one tourist spot, and you're putting this bottle because you walking around the treadmill in the circles, and you don't know nowhere else to go because you don't know anything. So
Yeah, it was crazy, but we got it from how you on, like you said, the website, the groups, or so like Passport Bros or Black Man Travel groups, and we was getting information from there. So we asked. Sometimes they would tell us certain things and about Cali, other time they didn't. So it was like a toss up. You didn't know what you're gonna get, and they gave us some information. Only problem was we just didn't plan it out right with the flight that messed it up. But like you said, we could have got more boots on ground for it. I think we could have made it worthwhile because we were gonna be there on the weekend in Cali for like 3 days, and then Cartagena for the rest. But it just didn't work out like it was supposed to. In back, when I went on my first trip to Colombia, but it was cool though. I mean, I still had a great time. Met some real gorgeous, pretty women, down to earth, and had a really great time. Let me ask you this question: Is dating or relationships over the last 10 to 15 years changed fully for you with the modern day female, halfway changed, or not changed at all?
um,
in your opinion?
For here, you talking about where I'm at now, where I'm at here in Mexico, or just women in general?
Just women in general, like living in the United States and even overseas. How you look at it? What's your belief or your opinion?
It's gotten 3 times worse. For me, I say that because back in the day it was earlier because all you had to do was just pull up on your rank. You do this, you did that, and then women like you for who you are. Now you gotta have 300,000 in your bank. You got to be a scammer. You got to be able to take them out. I can remember you take out a big girl, and the big girl was fine with going to get something to eat and going out and having a simple meal and dancing. Now the big girl, you got to be slim. When the girl is 300 pounds, you got to be 6'4". You got to have muscles. You got to have money. So I'm like, what part of the game is that where you 300 pounds, but you want a motherfucker that's 6'4" and he got muscles and he got money when you bring absolutely nothing to the table. The famous quote is a woman, oh, I bring stability, oh, I can make your house a home. Bitch, I could do that on my own. My house been my home. I don't need no woman to cook for me, to clean for me, to do anything for me because I was raised to do it myself. So if you're not helping me, oh, I can help you do this and I can help you. No, you can't because I've been fine without you. So you know what I mean. So like the thing with the women nowadays, they was never raised to be women in general. So if you was never taught to be a woman, how you gonna be a woman to me? If you was never taught to be a woman from the first place, the women nowadays they weren't taught to be women. My mother and my aunts are women. They was raised to be women. They were taught to be women, and they still sing. All of them are single right now. All my aunts, they're all single. So what does that tell you?
Mm.
They
Yeah, my
all
mom.
single. My aunts. Oh, I think I put a video. I don't know. I put you up. I'm going to tell you. I got the TikTok up running. Traveling the culture TikTok. I just started putting your photos up, and I just put my family up. They're all single. 4 or 5. I got 4 or 5 of my aunts. They all beautiful, and they're all single. You know why?
I know the reason. I know one.
Exactly. This black woman movement or this strong woman movement shit, they're all single. Every last one of my aunts. And they're all women. They was raised up to be grade A women. They're all single right now. And I say a couple of years, I had one girlfriend. I got one loyal one, but she's a pain in the ass. She go through your phone. She go through my phone. But she's 100% loyal. Come clean the house, do the dishes. All I gotta do is cook. I'm the cook, so I cook her and serve her. She do everything else, and that's me being here in the Mexican culture. They're not used to that. They gotta do everything. But us being black, when we raised up, we was raised and taught to serve for our aunts, cook for our aunts, and do all that. So I do that for her, and it blows her mind. But she's a pain in the ass at the same time. Go through my phone. She's scared a younger girl gonna take me here. So I'm happy, but I can be better.
I feel you. I mean, yeah, man. I feel like when you do relationships, you gotta build together. Not have the female. The females should know you don't. You build together, not build off me. We build together. It's not like it's a one way street. Like me and my buddy. He's a religious dude. I call him Anthony one, but I got 2 or 3 other homeboys that name Anthony, and he got his own perspective on it. And I got mine. So he's like, he's using the religious view of, the man. The man got to establish this. You the man, this, that, and the third. And you're supposed to have all this stuff. We live in different times now, different economy. I told him a different structure of women. He's been married for like 10 years. He found his wife. He's lucky, fortunate at the right time to find her. He got it right before it changed. I'll say be a year before it changed or 2. I'm gonna say less than 2 years before it changed. So he found his wife, met her. They've been married for 10 years. They had 3 kids. Saying he's doing a good job. I respect him on that, and I told him that before. Respecting what he's doing, but at the same time, I be real with him. Now, he started. I actually got him thinking. Now he realized because he got a sister-in-law who he sees as doing what we're talking about right now on this show, on this episode, that she doing the same thing half those females doing out in society, in the westernized society, up there always trying to dictate something, demanding. What have you done for me lately? Saying I'm independent, I don't need this. And the woman I heard she was married at one point and stuff like that, but now she's not. She left. She divorced her husband. You know how it's like 78% women divorcing their husbands in America. And what's sad about it, you got all this happening, and then all of a sudden people still ain't trying to think like is it really fully the man. I think it's half and half, but you could say it's more to women because women outnumber men. So if you want initiated, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, you can't blame the man fully for everything, majority. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I think too is you got to realize the women don't need men anymore because of the welfare system. When we was coming up, family, men and women stayed. A lot of families they stayed together because the women needed the help. She needed the actual help. Now, a woman could have kids and put the man out because welfare taking care of her. 3 or 4 kids of welfare taking care of her. Then she talk about she independent, strong, and all that. Bitch, welfare taking care of you. We don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean?
No, I respect that, man. And it's crazy though. We go on to this level of having things happen like this, and I think if the community could have like back 40 years ago, probably right around time if I was born and some other people were born, like really like hunkered down, listen to Ali Sahar. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And she was up there giving. She was giving. Hey, I'm letting y'all know, yo, we do it this way. She had a book about it. Ways that the community, men and women can work together and do better. I mean,
And
don't
that
wrong.
was back. That was way back then.
Back in the beginning of the 90s. This is like 30 some years ago. I was a little boy.
Yeah.
So, and she said this. I saw the old clips back in the day when I was younger. This woman was advocating this, promoting this, and saying, "Hey, you need to, black men have the hardest time out in the world. Period. Racism is globally. We're not going to change that. But off the break, it can slow down, but it's never going to change. You can't change somebody unless they're going to change on their own. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to deal with like working together. So like I was saying with my homeboy, and I told him, I said, bro, if I establish something and she don't like it, I'm not going to put myself out there like older guys used to tell me, man. He said, I wish I could have changed. I had an older guy who was old enough to be my dad and your dad said he wished he could have not rushed into marriage. He said he got married back when he was by the age of 25. He said by 25, he been married almost 50 years. He in his 70s. He said, I've been married 50 years. He said, I wish I could have waited till I was 30. He said till he was 30. This man old enough. You got some guys who told me when I was younger, and when I got older, they said they wish they would have done stuff differently. And these are guys who were somebody's grandfather, father, uncle, and people. Some women will tell you, "Oh, that's not true, man. It real, man." No, they just don't talk it because they don't want to look bad. Be exposed on what they're doing, because who wants to be exposed to say, oh, I took care of this family, but then I have other beliefs or my own mindset or intentions about stuff. And I really didn't fully believe what I was doing. I just tried to do the right thing because that's what the community taught me to do as a man. Or you've been structured. I call it the structured ass guy syndrome, where you've been structured for the community to do stuff. You see these guys on the contact creators like, yeah, man, you need to be doing this. A man's supposed to do, you do this. If my wife not going to work, you can't do that nowadays. Today's society is different, man. You got to work together. You don't want to work. You don't want the man to work himself to death and then he burns out. Then he gone. And then also some other young dude, some young version of him. You see it in hip hop culture or even celebrities out here getting a younger version of the dude they was messing with that was with them from the young years going to the middle age years. And look, the chick also said the guy died. Then she came with the young dude, the younger version of the guy is a different generation, and he clapping her cheeks. Like nobody wants to be up there. I'm looking from heaven or hell, or at least from heaven, looking at like, wow, she just getting her cheeks clapped, getting her back blown out. Like what I used to do with her. Oh man, and you be just like, wow, all that for you don't feel like you wasted your life, half your life. I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to say, hey, I enjoyed what I did. I did not just for myself, my family, my wife, my kids, and try to progress the community. The black community. I don't dislike or hate the community. I just don't like the direction it's going because we're not getting to the real situation of how to find a real solution, a better solution, or something update the real solution for this situation we got going on with the community. I mean, you got this Sexy Red and what is it, Suki Hanas and some other drinks and who else? What's her name? Oh, Sierra up here doing like songs to get these girls thinking like they are. Now they starting to wake up and realize these girls are married and stuff, and they up there wasted some of their life. So it's like stuff is starting to come full circle, and people are starting to wake up a little, but it's still taking time for people to really realize what's really going on and what's the real priorities and how we can progress the community itself and better it. I mean, that's all I want to do for it the best I can, to the day I have to go, because I'm not going to be here forever. I got a daughter, I know, and she's going to be a grown female in the next 5 years. She's going to be 18. That's going to be crazy, So, but I got one more question for you, man. Do you believe men or women can try to find a new solution or a common or better common grounds or understanding to, try to communicate their beliefs, actual beliefs, or their own point of views while they're in a relationship in this in today's society? Or do you think it's going to be like, still keep going the same route for the next 10 years, even when they get in their older years, like 40s and 50s and stuff for some people?
I think it's only going to get worse, bro. You know why? Because of social media. I mean, social media is took a stronghold on everybody. So you got to remember too. Like, I'm gonna go back to my aunts. They had every man. They had all the guys, all the men in the town, drooling all over them, all of them, all of them. So,
Mm.
and just imagine how they was moving back then. So now you have, and they were all pretty. So now you have women that aren't pretty that got 45 men in their inbox because they're on social media. So now they have a choice of, well, if he don't like me, I can do this because I got so many standards. I got all these men. It wasn't like that. The social media is killing everything because now women have 45 choices. You're not the only one. If you act up, they'll be like, oh, I'll go get such and such because he willing to do this, he willing to do that. And when you got men willing to pay you money online, and whenever in 4 states over, whenever in another country, it's fucking up it's tearing up everything. You know what I mean? Because now they don't have they don't have no standards, or they don't have no, how would you say, they don't have any, I can't get the word out. I'm just saying they don't have any standards of who they'll talk to because they can get, there you go. Now they can get it from any other man from all over the world. When we was going to believe to have that, you mess with one girl, you only seen her, and she only seen the guys that was in your town. Now she sees 85 different men or 1,000 different men from all over the world. Like, can pick her choice. Oh, and compare you to every man that she sees in her inbox or on the internet. So it's like, now you gotta be on your A game at all times when you wake up, and you just gotta imagine too, women can Photoshop, they could do filter shots. So now they can make themselves look better, 10 times better than what they are all the way over here. And this man see it. He's sending her money. He in the inbox all day, talking to her, how beautiful she is when she catfishing you. The whole time. You know what I mean? So like, I done been through that. Well, I done came through, seen a girl here. She sent me pictures of her in high school. And then when you see her, that was a high school picture. And she 10 years older than what she was.
Yeah, you get that catfish, man. That catfish.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, and it's the guys too. But I think we're different because we don't have 35 choices. We got 2 or 3. Women have 100. So we'll take a woman in the cardboard box and she can live in the street. We'll take her long as she got morals and she willing to do something with herself and she look good. We'll fuck with a woman in the cardboard box. That's simple and plain. Women, if she's on that level, she's not messing with you if you in the cardboard box. You got to be at her standard for her to mess with you. And they can say it any way they want. They ain't messing with no nigga with a bus pass if they in a Ferrari or they in a Benz. A dude to mess with a woman that's walking on the street or that's riding a bike, and she look good.
Nah, you're right. Yeah, man, it's getting tough out here, man. I feel bad for the next generation because some of those guys, young guys, who they gonna try to prove that they can do better than the older guys. We all did that when we was younger, and they gonna try to do it with us. Thinking like, oh, I can show that woman I can do better than that older guy. But when he finds out the realization, the real situation, why she might be still single or why she has her own issues or her issues are, he gonna be like, man, he said, man, that older guy, man, he told me, man, and I didn't want to listen. And we're gonna be the older guy soon in the next 5 to 10 years, telling them like, man, you know, it's on you. There's a reason why she might be single, man. It ain't by choice. Some of that stuff could be choice, but other times it ain't by choice, man. Don't let it fool you. Unless society tells you that lie, and then all of a sudden you thinking, oh man, it's that guy. It's always a guy. Don't get wrong, guys do wrong 40s, maybe 50%, but the other percentage is the woman. It goes hand in hand.
And you got to realize too, the women don't want to cook. Oh, I'm not cooking or no cleaning. That's slavery. You know, that was when my grandmother did that for my grandfather. I'm not doing that. So, and women are not submissive anymore. They're men, but they want women rights. You know, if you want to be held up to a man, you need to take the man consequences too. You need to be held up to them standards also. You want to work? Oh, I'm independent. Okay, well, you go work in the steel. You work construction. You work in the mills and all that. and then you want to be a man, we'll treat you like one. So, the men coming up got a rough road, man. They got it bad. And the women, 90% of the women are alone. Every woman, I go out here on Valentine's Day, New Year's, there's 10 women, 3 out of the women got a man at their table. The rest of them, they're all by themselves together. They're out New Year's together, a bunch of women.
Gotcha.
20 years ago, there was all couples out on Valentine's Day, New Year's.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
That's tough, man. But yeah, man, I know you probably got hit on soon. You go to the gym. I know I'm about to hit on get some things done too. I really appreciate you stopping by. Giving your opinion, your experience, your knowledge on stuff. And I know you let the audience, let the people know your upcoming was it like projects or anything coming up?
Yeah. So you can find me on YouTube at Traveling the Culture Podcast TV. So I got a whole superstar lineup coming. I got the mayor from Hudson coming up. I got my cousin that's coming up. So I just did Danny Escudero. He's a drill sergeant, Army vet. I'm posting that episode maybe Wednesday, but I'm starting the culture side where I'm getting these dudes that's been to prison, dudes that's been to jail, that's got businesses that came home. So now I'm doing the good side of the community and the bad part of it coming up. So I got a bunch of things coming up. The editing part of the game, I'm just jumping into that. So I'm going to be doing a lot of editing, and I'm going to put up a lot of big changes for the YouTube channel. You're going to see all these changes coming up. It's going to be more professional. So I'm going to start. I got my mics. I got my equipment. I'm going to start using my mic and all that. But I just wanted to build some content first before I start jumping into the more professional side. Once I get a few clients, once the channel start rolling to get some views, then I'll start using the mic and making it look more professional. You know what I mean?
No, I respect that, man. That's good, man. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on Black Kings of DMV, man, and really, a pleasure, respect, and everything. And I hope we, collaborate some more down the road in the near future with stuff. And always good doing stuff with you, man.
All right, you too. You already know what it is. Let me know when you're ready. All right.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Stay up, bud. Stay up.
All right, everybody.